the Pittsburgh Steelers. What would you do to beat this Steeler team? How would you guys attack the Steelers on Sunday? Are you ready? Are you ready? Football Friday, Big Sales National Football Show. And we appreciate everybody coming aboard. What a red October it's been for the Phillies. We got game one of the World Series tonight. We got Steelers and Eagles on Sunday. The National Football League on Sunday. Even have a Monday game. So guess what? Your clock starts early on Sunday. College football, I mean, there are some electric games on Saturday. So what a great sports time. And you know what? It's not a cliche. It's fact. It's fact. It's a great sports time of the year right now. And we welcome you aboard here, man. You know what? If you can't find something to gravitate to now, whether it be the World Series or the NFL, last night too, by the way, what a storyline. Tom Brady. Hey, you want to hear something? You hear all the people throwing out sorrow for Brady? Let me show you something here. Personally, of course. Professionally, I don't care. Hey, dude, everyone has an issue in their life. The great ones can departmentalize it. I guarantee you if Tom Brady was 25 and he was going through this, it'd be a different Tom Brady on Sundays or Thursday night. He's on the back nine of his career right now. By the way, I'm not saying I don't feel for the guy. Any man in his right mind would feel for the guy. But professionally, I don't care. You're 3-5, dude. That's all I know. You're Tom Brady. You didn't come back for this. You're a champion. Dig that team out of that hole. I believe he can. I believe he will. We'll talk more about that. Again, there's two sides to being a pro athlete. Your personal life, your professional life. Unfortunately, sometimes they collide like this. Brady's never had this kind of adversity in his life. I told you this, and I made the comparison with Tiger and Tom Brady in a way. Not that his situation is same. However, it's personal issues. This is why guys like Nicholas were able to overcome all that stuff because they kept themselves grounded. Like I said, we'll talk more about this because it has affected his play. By the way, real quick, Lamar Jackson last night, you just got to do this for him. Here's a man that's investing in himself. He was electric in the second half of that game, that run. This guy's got like spidey senses. When people are coming up behind him in the open field, he's amazing. This guy's got like spidey senses on the field. Dude, you're going to pay, and you're going to pay. If you're DaCosta and you're Biscotti, the owner of the Ravens, my God almighty, you allowed that guy to play through a contract. He turns down $250 some odd million and goes, I'm going to invest in myself. Bro, if that guy doesn't have a catastrophic injury this year, you're going to pay through the wazoo for this kid. He is electric. That guy was the best quarterback on the field last night. And not only that, he was a top 5 guy last night. Man. He is some ball player. You want to hear something else? I wrote some stats down on him. Do you know, like he's 44-17 as a starting quarterback. You know he's got a higher passer rating than Peyton Manning? This guy's got a higher passer rating than Peyton Manning. Who would have ever thought that after watching him in his first year when he took over for Flacco? Couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Next year, he's a unanimous MVP. Only Tom Brady's ever done that. Man, he is a great football player. He's a great football player. Unbelievable. God, we have so much stuff to hit on. Hey, before we get into football here, okay, don't call Bryce Harper Mr. October yet. Let me give you some stats on Mr. October. In 27 World Series games, Reggie Jackson hit 357 with 10 home runs and 24 RBIs. 755 slugging percentage. That's not postseason numbers. Those are World Series numbers. And he has 5 World Series titles. 3 in Oakland, 2 in New York. Everywhere Jackson went, they won. Reggie was Mr. and is Mr. October. No one, you could name that World Series trophy after Reggie, and I'd have no problem with it. I mean, this guy is in the conversation with Babe Ruth and Gehrig. Harper has to win it. Reggie said that. He goes, hey, you want that title? You want that distinction? You got to win it. You can't just perform well. Bonds was spectacular in the World Series against the Angels. He didn't win it. He hit something like 419 in that series. Didn't win it. Bonds was awesome in that Angel series. Got to win it. Harper's got to win it. Okay? Think about that. Jackson, 357 in 27 World Series games. 10 home runs, 24 RBI, 755 slugging percentage. Numerous times he hit over 400 with the A's and Yankees in the postseason. Reggie's ALDS numbers are insane. Unbelievable postseason ball player. And remember, they didn't play multiple games back then. That's right, baby. Reggie, right there, Philadelphia's finest. That's right. Reggie is a Philadelphia dude. Went to Arizona State. What a great baseball player. That's Mr. October. Bryce is there, man. He's got a chance to get that distinction. Starts tonight, game 1 of the World Series. Guys, I want to give you a scouting report. Transition over to football now. I want to give you a scouting report by Butch Davis. And I asked Butch about Robert Quinn, who looks like he's going to play this weekend against the Steelers. Butch recruited him at UNC. Loved the kid. He says he's one hell of a guy. Loved coaching him. Loved everything about Robert Quinn. I said, Butch, give me your assessment on Robert Quinn and who he is and what he is. And I posted this, by the way, on my Twitter page. This is Butch's response on who Robert Quinn is. One of the best athletes I've ever coached. Was a super heavyweight wrestler in high school. State and on the national level, was one of the great wrestlers in the United States. Wrestled at UNC. Freaky quickness. Speed off the edge. It gets around the corner like no one. 18 and a half sacks last year. His numbers would be freaking if he had another DL opposite of him this year. His numbers would be right down the line, he thinks. This year, if he had somebody on that D-line that could help him out. He's going to get that now in Philly. I think he has had like 3 all-pro seasons. He may not be like he was in years 4, 5, and 6, but he's clearly going to help the Eagles, especially with what the Eagles have on their defensive line. Butch Davis thinks he's going to make an impact for your football team. Butch talks to him still. They both communicate. Butch watches his game film. They go back and forth. He has been a mentor for Robert Quinn his entire career because Butch didn't care about the heart issue. Not that he didn't care, but it didn't faze him in recruiting him. Loves him. Loves him. Okay, just absolutely loves him. Yeah, we will have finally our friend Jason Cole about all these trades and a little bit of news on the Alvin Kamara deal. That'll be at 5:30 Eastern time, Xander. Sorry for not sending that to you. Robert Quinn double-teamed 58 times this year. Wendell, thank you very much, and you're correct. He's been the most double-teamed defensive lineman so far this year, according to NFL stats. Butch thinks he's got a lot left, and he is going to be a factor. You see what Jerry Jones said about it? Wow. That's a really great move for Philly. Jerry Jones made the comment. Okay? Xander's like, my prediction of the day is that Brady storms back and turns the Bucs around. I agree. I completely agree. Why wouldn't you not give him the latitude of that? He's Tom Brady and he's done it. Quinn had a brain tumor too. Absolutely. Quinn's wrestling experience gives him knowledge of leverage. That's what we talked about. Absolutely. Okay? The Stanford guys, thank you. Eagles, that's right, Timothy. Part of that deal with Robert Quinn is the final 2 years of Quinn's deal. The Eagles and Quinn have agreed that they're voiding the final 2 years, which means this. If he puts up 10 sacks, I could see the Eagles bringing him back on another year. He puts 10 sacks up, the Eagles aren't letting him roll. They're not. And if he puts up 10 sacks, he might find himself in a position like Von Miller, Khalil Mack, right? This guy's looking to get one more paycheck. I don't blame him. Now he's on a Super Bowl contending team. So I was glad to hear Butch say, this guy's got stuff left in the tank, Dan. The Bears D-line sucks. There's nothing on that Bears D-line. Okay, there's just nothing on that Bears D-line. He's going to go into Philadelphia and make a factor. If they use him correctly, he's going to be a factor for Philly. I think you're going to see a factor maybe even on Sunday because I don't really think much of the Steelers. We're going to get to this game here in a second. But I don't really think that Steeler O-line, they're going through transition right now. The Steelers O-line is not the Steelers O-line that we've seen over the last 3 decades. That's not who that team is right now. Okay, it's not. Sports, he is playing Sunday, from what I'm hearing. Bummer, no Kamara. Manster, remember what I said about Kamara? He's a wish list guy. I believe the target is the kid in Cleveland. However, the Rams are now in the conversation for Kareem Hunt. I'll get into the trade conversations here in a second, but I wanted to give you that update and what people are saying about Robert Quinn joining the Eagles. Let's go into that now and transition into that, the latest. Look, I've been saying the whole time, Alvin Kamara is a wish list dude. And there's no question that would be somebody that you would just absolutely want to have on your football team because he's going to make any team better, especially if you have an energy quarterback and a quarterback playing at the level that Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen or anyone is playing. When you have a guy like Drew Brees, you're going to catch 81 passes when you have that kind of skill set that Alvin Kamara has. Okay? They don't have that in New Orleans right now. That's why he's making all those social media gestures and all of that. He's not happy with the losing. Why would you be? He's had over a decade of winning since he's been a Saint. But he was always a wish list guy. Dan, what do you think the chances of getting Alvin Kamara are? You guys asked me that for the last 2 days. What did I say? I think he's a wish list guy. It's going to demand more capital and draft capital to get a guy like that out of New Orleans. Hard to do that when we're talking about November 1st versus the offseason. Make sense? I do think that Kareem Hunt is still a target. However, you've got to fight off the Bills and the Rams. Now, Cleveland helping the Bills, they'd rather trade the kid, in my opinion, out of the conference and get him in the NFC, get him out of the AFC. Why would you send him to Josh Allen, knowing full well you may have to butt heads with that team down the line once you get Deshaun Watson on a football field and playing? Most likely the next 3 years, not so much this year. But why would you want to run into Kareem Hunt sitting up there in Buffalo? Kareem Hunt is the missing piece in Buffalo that makes them complete too. Every football team has a piece that is the one piece. And the Eagles are thinking it's Robert Quinn. I think it could be a safety and also maybe another running back. But I think they can do without. But if you added a guy like Kareem Hunt to the backfield, your red zone goal line issues are over with. He's your guy. And I would say this to you. The reason that I don't think that the Rams are in the conversation, the Rams are talking about future third-round picks. They don't have a lot of draft capital to move around, nor do they have a lot of cap space to do anything with. You know, they talk, and I don't know how they continue to do this. Every single time when they need a player, they go find him and they make room. I don't know what credit card they're using, but they make things happen. Les Snead and Kevin Demoff, the executives with the Rams, along with Sean McVay, man, these guys have carte blanche from Stan Kroenke, the owner. You know, they have carte blanche to make moves like this. It's pretty remarkable. And again, in Philadelphia, the reason that you have more carte blanche to move around, as we've been saying the last couple of days, is why? Well, it's clearly because of Jalen Hurts' contract. That gives him the affordability. So, are they done by November 1st? We're going to get to that here in a second, okay? Let's get to the topics here. Got a bunch of stuff to get to here, man. Sills, Brady's done. Really? You're going there? Haven't we been saying that for a decade now? Brady's done. Haven't we? So Quinn 4-4 don't have to pay a salary, and when he becomes a free agent and signs with another team, the Birds get a compensation pick. That's correct. That's how that works. By the way, I see my internet is going a little bit in and out here. Please stay with us here. Hopefully that's going to turn around here in a second. So if not here, we'll take a break here in a second, but let's see if it comes back here in a second here. So before we begin the topics here, but yes. Okay. Yes. Brady was kind of stinking last night. Yeah, he was. That whole team sucks. They miss Bruce Arians. Okay? That's okay, sports. It's us, but it's trying to come back now. So thank you guys for hanging in there, and we appreciate you guys doing that too. We're going to get to the topics here in a second. Yeah, I mean, and the only guy really playing his ass off last night was Shaq Barrett. Seals, do you have Cox cable? I do. Terrible. Terrible. Let's get to the topics now. Steelers, Sunday. Yeah, ACL last night, out for the season. Shaq Barrett, I know. Boy, they're just a walking mass unit now. The whole thing is a train wreck in Tampa. Bruce Arians is so needed. He is so needed as the head football coach. You turn the team over to Todd Bowles. I'm not saying Todd Bowles is a bad head coach, but let Todd Bowles do what he does best. He's a defensive coordinator. And by the way, the Buccaneer defense sucks. I can't believe how bad White is playing. That whole defense looks bad. Hey, there's no question that the Philadelphia Eagles could smash that team right now. There is no doubt about it. There is no doubt about it. You don't have to fear the Bucs. I still would not want to see Tom Brady in the postseason, though, in a playoff game. And if I had to, I want to see him in Philly, not in Tampa. Not that I think that'll happen, because I do not believe that the Eagles are going to lose that amount of games, so they wouldn't be hosting that team if they had to play them in the postseason. I think the Bucs right now, their best shot, they got to win that South, or they're not going to the playoffs. Now, you're 3-5. You're still in it in the NFC. You understand that, right? You're still in it. Like, if Atlanta wins this weekend, I think they're in first place in the South. So the Bucs are still in this thing. There's just like a lack of communication going on with the Bucs right now. Let's get into the Steeler game a little bit here. What to expect? The Pittsburgh Steelers. What would you do to beat this Steeler team? How would you guys attack the Steelers on Sunday? Let me throw this at you here. Look at a quarterback play. When you have inexperienced quarterbacks, what do? Bring pressure. Bring pressure, or hope your guys get home. This is a great situation for Robert Quinn and for Hassan Reddick. Wind those dudes up and let those guys go eat. Let those guys get home. Let those guys go after, and let those guys put the pressure on them. See if that works first, because I don't believe that Steeler O-line could stop the front seven of the Eagles. Even without pressure. Jonathan Gannon is not going to have to come up with cosmetic, or he's not going to have to come up with designer-type blitzes and stunts. You're not going to have to do anything exotic here against that Steeler O-line. All you're going to have to do is get good play. By the way, Fletcher Cox and Hargrave, you've got to be effective on first down. Do not let up gaping plays that give the Steelers hope and keeping them in third and short. Keep those quarterbacks, Kenny Pickett, Trubisky, whomever. Doesn't really matter. They have nobody on that offense at the quarterback position that makes me go, hey, let me be concerned about this guy. Put the ball in his hands. Stop Najee Harris. Make sure Pickens doesn't get going along with Claypool. And you got this thing. Jonathan Gannon doesn't have to be spectacular in this game to beat the Steelers. He doesn't. He does not have to be spectacular. Let his guys go after him. Play it like you did. But I would say this to you. Coming out of the bye, look for the energy level. The Eagles have to have high energy in this game. Know this. Mike Tomlin's going to have that Steeler team ready to roll. He's a fabulous coach. It's not going to be because of lack of effort that Pittsburgh loses this game on Sunday. As a matter of fact, they're going to play 60 minutes of football in Pittsburgh. You better be prepared for that. You better be prepared, or you will get upset. And you would get upset by a team that has far lesser talent than you. I'll get to their defensive side of the ball, too, here in a second. I see TJ Watt was practicing today. I don't know if he's going to be on the field on Sunday, but he looks awful close. He looks awful close. Guy coming off of IR, you know what I would do? I'll get to that in a minute. Okay, just get after the quarterback. Get after the quarterback like you did in Washington. You put pressure on the quarterback, stop the run, Pittsburgh can't beat you. They cannot beat you. As for the offense, dude, if TJ Watt's on that field and he's coming off IR, run at him. Just like you did Michael Parsons. The only way to neutralize a really good pass rusher is what? Run at him. And you got a guy coming off of the injury list. Test that out. See if he's healthy. Run at his ass. Run at him. Try to run him over. Try to beat him up. For whatever reason, they got Hayward in the middle. They're not very good on defense. You don't really have, and get this, You don't have to throw the ball 35 times in this game. Man, you could throw the ball 25 times in this game. Jalen getting out in the perimeter, controlling the clock, run them off the field. You could beat that team 27-10. 27-10 is what the score should be. 27-10. And then you know what you do? You coast it home. You don't have to do anything stupid. You don't have to. Well, what about the second? Who cares? Run them off the field. Get to the next game coming out of the bye. That team is inferior to you. Treat them like it. They really have no talent in Pittsburgh. Outside of TJ Watt, Najee Harris, Pickens looks good. Claypool's kind of good. I think he's overhyped a tad. I actually think the kid from Georgia is better. Watt, obviously, TJ Watt is absolutely a great ball player. And I think Hayward's a great ball player. But they can't stop the run. 31-10 Birds? Sure. Okay. Getting over 30 points? Sure. Okay. This is a game that you're the alpha dog in. This is a game, if you get into a pitch and catch type game, why? Why would you take the chance of 3 and outs to give the Steelers more opportunities to have series? Limit their series, man. Limit them to 10 series at most. And you win that game handily. Okay? You win the game handily. Handily. I think Pickens is a good football player. 35-13 Birds. I can't see Pittsburgh scoring 25 points or more. I just can't see it. Where are you getting your offense from? Najee Harris, man, is a man on an island. He's got no O-line and no quarterback play, and he's a good football player. He's not quite Derrick Henry, but I'll tell you what, man, he's a good football player, and I'd love to have him on my football team. But he's in no man's land right now. The holes are not there. Quarterback play doesn't help on play action pass. There is no reason for the Eagles to be in a football game with this team going into halftime. No reason for it. Okay? No reason for it. Got to go deep, expose those weak corners. Timothy, why not expose the weak D-line? It's what you do best. You run the ball. Why would you throw the ball in the air on higher turnover percentage plays versus run the ball, which you're effective at? You're trying to limit turnovers and the opportunity for the other team to make a turnover. Deep passes? What do you mean deep pass? Why? When they can't stop the run. 62-6 Eagles? I don't think that. Control the clock, man. You've got this game. You going into this game, the Eagles know this. The Steelers' biggest fear is this, that they don't throw the ball a lot and they just run the ball down their throat and they can't stop it. The Steelers already know they're getting into a fight with Mike Tyson. They're fighting Tyson, and they're Floyd Mayweather. And to fight a guy like Tyson, you got to withstand the bombs that are coming at you. The way that the Eagles try to dominate you at the point of attack. We'll also be able to find out a little bit more about the Eagle health. Okay? Sirianni and Steichen get too cute. They made Jalen throw too much in the first quarter. I don't want to see any of that. There's no need for that. Need to play smash mouth ball, take care of business, move on to the next game with as limited damage as possible. You know, we're starting to get into the point of the season now where injuries are going to start playing a factor for every single team, including the Philadelphia Eagles. You can't lose key personnel guys like a Malata at left tackle, Kelsey at center. Hey, look, I know that there's a capable backup to Jason Kelsey, but there's no backup that has the experience that Jason Kelsey has. What you lose with a guy like Jason Kelsey, if he is somehow not able to play for a stretch of games, you lose a quarterback of your offensive line. I do everything in my power, which is run the ball. Pass protection, you know what happens in pass protection? You get bent over. You fall over guys. You get caught in traffic. When you're run blocking, you're plowing ahead. You get up, go to the next play. Plowing ahead, get up, go to the next play. I'm not saying there's not traffic in there and there's not chances for injuries, but I think you have more of an opportunity at getting hurt more on pass probe than you do on running the ball. I think that's an offensive lineman's favorite thing to do is run the ball. Pass probe, you don't know what's behind you. Blow knees out. How many times you see guys rolled up on, ankles rolled up on, knees getting crushed in the pile because of pass protection? Okay, I mean, this is a game you want to get out of this game. Pittsburgh's going to play hard. Pittsburgh is going to play hard in this ball game. But again, I say 27-10. Eagles haven't really put up a lot of 30-point games. But I say 27-10. Would I be shocked if they put up a 34 nugget? Absolutely not. I would not be shocked if they did that. But 27-10 is where I'm going with that. Yeah, here's Lamar Jackson. By the way, a little bit more on that. Lamar Jackson's 44-15 since he's been a starter in Baltimore. He's got a higher quarterback rating than Peyton Manning does in his career. How's that for you? Poof. I couldn't have been more wrong about it, dude. Unbelievable. All right. Second topic, November 1. Will Howie make another move by November 1st and the trading deadline? Will he make another move? I think Howie's going to make another move. I don't think it's going to be a frontline move, though. I don't think it's going to be a frontline move. Kareem Hunt, to me, is the no-brainer. They want a third and a fourth or a third and a fifth for him. We're going to know more about, from what I'm understanding, the people that are around Andrew Berry, we're going to know more about that come Monday, Tuesday. Okay? Come Monday, Tuesday, we're going to know a little bit more with that. By the way, the Browns, Cleveland plays Monday night. That's why this move has not been made with Kareem Hunt. Okay? The Browns play Cincinnati on Monday night. We're not going to know anything more about Kareem Hunt until Tuesday as we get closer to November 1. They play on Monday. Okay? If you don't see Kareem Hunt in that ball game on Monday, you'll know he's being dealt to somebody the next day. We'll know a lot about the status of Kareem Hunt come Monday. I think they're going to let it go through the weekend. And you know what? Why they're going to let it go, and I'm talking Cleveland, why they're going to let it go through the weekend? They're going to wait and see what teams are going to do when it comes to injuries and where they are. Because, look, some teams may say that they're out of it come Sunday night. And they may just start wholesaling everybody and go, why would I get into this and give up draft capital right now when I don't have to and I'm going to wait till the April draft? Why would I do that? They wouldn't. So I think they wait till Sunday night before they start making decisions. You don't have to panic here if you're Cleveland. Remember, too, you've surrendered a shitload of draft capital to Houston. You need picks. You got a quarterback that you have to build around still, and that's Deshaun Watson. 2022 for Cleveland, dude, this is just a get-through year for them. They know they're not going to be competitive. Now, look, they get the kid back. He's going to be rusty. We all know this. So they get the kid back. He's going to be rusty. All right? That's right. Eagles fan, if Cleveland, actually, Jacob, if Cleveland loses Monday, there's a better chance that you see Kareem Hunt sitting in a Philadelphia Eagle gear the next day. That's correct. That's correct. Hunt is a running back, not a quarterback. He's not worth the baggage. What baggage? Because he hit that chick? That's not baggage. The league doesn't think it's baggage. You guys look at that wrong, like you're moralist. What do you care? You've had Michael Vick on your team. Seriously, what do you care about any issues that Kareem Hunt has if the league doesn't? I hate when I hear people talking like that. You don't want a kid on your team, so he goes to the Rams, and the Rams, potentially, they put Kareem Hunt on the team, and all of a sudden, the Rams are back being the Rams again? Do you want that, really? You want to run into the Rams like that? I don't. I don't give a shit about Kareem Hunt's issues. Can he play? Does he show up on Sundays? And is he productive? I'm not a psychologist. I'm a football player. Act like it. Honestly, man. Now, again, if the league thinks that Kareem Hunt is a problem, ban him for life. You could have banned Deshaun Watson for life. You could have banned Leonard Little after he killed those two people drunk driving. Those guys were back in the league. What do you care? I've always said this about OJ. If OJ was let off the hook and he had just gained 2,003 yards and he murdered two people, OJ had been in a Bills uniform the next year. He would have. NFL would have went like this. Well, he's suspended, but we'll bring him back and he can play because he was exonerated in a court of law. I would have loved to have seen how the NFL would have handled that OJ case if he was an active player. I guarantee you he'd have played. I guarantee it. What would you have stood on? He was found innocent. I'm not saying he is. I'm saying that they found him innocent in a court of law. OJ would have played. OJ would have played. The league puts these guys back in the league all the time. Sills, don't you care about character? That's not my concern. I don't own the team. I don't pay the guys. I don't sign the guys. I play who's ever in the locker room with me. That's all I can do. That's all the control I have. Now, you don't have to go to dinner with them. You don't have to be boys with them, but you got to play with them. How many people do you work with in your work that you hate, but you know you have to work with because your boss put them in there and hired them? Same thing. There's no difference. There's people you hate that you work with. Your boss hired them. You got to work with them. It's what it is. There's no difference from an NFL locker room. No difference. None. There's no video of Vic killing or abusing dogs. Brandon, he spent 18 months in Leavenworth. Do you think he really needed video? This guy did hard time in Leavenworth. I mean, do you truly think you needed any video doing 18 months in Leavenworth? I mean, come on now. Man, Hunt's issues are a non-factor in acquiring the kid. I could care less, and so should you. The NFL doesn't care. I think he's the target. Would it shock me if Howie ends up signing a safety for depth? No. It would not shock me. Okay? It would not shock me. Depth, tight end position, kind of unlikely. By the way, John McMullen was talking about Andre Dillard. I'm sure the Eagles are getting calls on Andre Dillard. And I'm sure they're getting calls on Jack Driscoll. I mean, you got to look at the poor O-line play. Do you know that Howie's got to be sitting there thinking, there's no question, I would say this to you, that Jack Driscoll and Andre Dillard, that's who people are calling Philly about. Hey, I know you guys are deep in the O-line. Driscoll's played a lot. Dillard's still coming back from injury. What do you want for Dillard? I'll take a 1. Start there. Why not? Teams are desperate right now. Why not? Can't give you a 1. Okay. How about a 2? Howie doesn't have to move these guys. Howie knows in his heart of hearts, these guys are safety belts. These guys are seat belts. Jack Driscoll is proving to be the Swiss Army knife. Guard, tackle, left, right. Look, he's not exceptional, but he's kind of like Barrett Brooks. You could play him anywhere. And to be fair, Barrett was a starter for 6 years of his 12. It's remarkable. But you could play Jack in any position, possibly outside of center. Why would you get rid of that? That's a value to the Eagles. That's why teams are calling the Eagles for their 2 linemen now. There is no question. I asked Butch, if you're a team and you called the Philadelphia Eagles, what would you be calling for? He goes, the depth in their O-line. I'll tell you this, Butch Davis is the guy who recruited Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Clinton Portis, Edgerrin James, Reggie Wayne, Bryant McKinney, Warren Sapp, Russell Maryland, Cortez Kennedy, Jonathan Vilma, John Beeson. Can I go on? He's the guy that recruited all them dudes. He knows talent. And he goes, I'd want 2 of them, those 2 linemen they have, they're backups. Who are they? I go, Jack Driscoll and Andre Dillard. He goes, yeah, because look at the poor O-line play that's going around the NFL. There's no doubt that Howie must be receiving at least 5 calls a day about those 2 guys. Absolutely, those 2 guys have to be front and center. I doubt, maybe Howie floated out that he would move Fletcher Cox because of whatever, but I doubt it that anybody would take that $14 million salary. The Eagles would have to eat all that. Why would they do that? Just keep him on the football team. He's on a 1-year contract right now. Okay? Driscoll is okay, needs time. As far as I'm concerned, Jack Driscoll has done a fine job for being a replacement when you need injury replacement. It's not that far off of dive when he's in there. He's not that bad. And he's going to continue to get better and better and better and better and become more valuable to the Eagles' process of potentially winning the Super Bowl. That guy may start in the Super Bowl for you like you guys had in 17 where you guys needed to put people together. He's a true asset. Thank you, Paul. Paul's usually very critical of Big Sills. Your coverage of the trade deadline has been awesome. Thank you so much, Paul. The corner safety punt return guy makes the most sense. Yeah, because it would mean low assets that you would have to surrender for a punt returner. Okay? What a luxury to have. Picking, it's an amazing luxury. It's an amazing luxury. Jeff Stoutland has built depth with the people that they've drafted in the O-line and his ability to coach kids. I'll tell you something right now. There is no doubt one of the reasons that Alabama dynasty was built the way it was is because Jeff Stoutland was dominant in that O-line. And this is probably the first year that I've seen that Alabama doesn't really have the best O-line. They lost a ton of guys over the last 3 years in that O-line. I don't think they're as dominant. And some of those guys are now going to Georgia, A&M, Florida. You're seeing guys at Tennessee now, Ohio State. Stoutland poured the cement to put the foundation at Alabama to really have that. And it's kind of eroded a little bit. Nick's not getting the same guys. Is Nil a factor? Probably. Okay, probably. One thing's for sure, Sills can read. Manster, Not well at times, though. The only thing we need is depth. We're not upgrading. Boy, I'll tell you what. Kareem Hunt, though, man, makes your backfield like 17. Can you imagine having Kareem Hunt and Miles Sanders in the backfield? You'd use Hunt on goal line, down in the red zone like that. Boy, I got to tell you, man, I don't think Miles Sanders is a very good goal line runner. I think he's pretty damn good from 20 to 20, but you don't really have that LeGarrette Blount dude, and he could be that guy for you. Thank you, Manster. I appreciate it, brother. Hunt is an upgrade. You know what, Sports? I think Hunt upgrades the position. Miles is playing great, dude. There's no bitching at Miles Sanders. There's no bitching. I just don't think he's I don't think he's a superstar red zone guy. By the way, top of the hour, week 8 of the NFL. I want to take a look at that, okay? A little bit more of a recap, too, on last night's ball game last night with Brady versus the Lamar Jackson Ravens. Dude, Lamar's a spectacular player. Now, if I'm Jalen Hurts, I'm watching how Baltimore's handling this. Because you know what you could see? If Baltimore's hedging on paying Lamar, Philly's going to too. The Eagles will too. Currently, right now, on October 28th, Jalen's not better than Lamar Jackson. However, the similarities are there. Lamar's older. Well, Lamar, you see, stop comparing the growth of Jalen Hurts with Josh Allen. Compare it more with Lamar Jackson. Because those are the similar types of players. Lamar's a better passer today. Okay? Those are the guys you compare. Don't compare to Josh Allen. Josh Allen has a freak arm. Okay? He's got a freaky passing arm. There's nothing special about Jalen's passing arm. Okay? And personally, I don't think there's anything special about Lamar's passing arm. But combined with it all together, he is spectacular. Make sense? Okay. He's not better than Lamar Jackson, guy. Lamar Jackson, 47-14 as a starting quarterback in the NFL. You're high. Unanimous MVP. Led the NFL in passing touchdowns. Jalen will never lead the NFL in passing touchdowns. Ever. Ever will he lead the NFL in passing touchdowns. It's not his game. It's not a rip. It's not a rip. It's not how he plays. And like I said a couple days ago, for the record on Jalen, look at the rest of the NFC quarterbacks. There's nobody lighting up touchdown passes right now. He's kind of in the mix between 6 and 10 or 6 and 11. Nobody's playing great football at the quarterback position except for Jalen in the NFC. Stafford's not doing well. Aaron Rodgers is not playing well. Brady was outplayed by Lamar last night. He was awesome in the second half. I never thought that Lamar would lead the NFL in touchdown passes either. But he's more skilled as a passer, in my opinion. Now, Jalen's hard work. Here's one thing that I will concede to you on Jalen Hurts. Okay? Nothing is out of the realm of possibility for him because of how he works and how he prepares. I'll concede to that. Okay? That this kid, he sees a deficiency in his game, he works on it. That's who he is. Okay? And I agree. Jalen Hurts, I would say this to you. Jalen Hurts has been the funnest guy to cover in a long time for me. Because you're watching a kid who nobody wanted. Even fans in Philly. Nobody wanted that second pick. And you're watching it. And nobody's rooting against him. You're watching a story where he's taken all the naysayers and having success. Okay? He's been fun to watch. Jalen's a political politician. You must be talking about Astros and Phillies. I wouldn't. You can make fun of that for a little bit here, but I wouldn't really lose sleep over that. I think it's fun to kind of like give him a couple jabs. Oh, okay. Now you're a Phillies fan. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. Guys, please hang in there with me. I see the internet's kind of fluctuating a little bit. Please hang in there. It'll come back here in a sec. Chalk It Up Sports. Jalen Hurts may be one of the most unpredictable quarterbacks in the NFL. And I mean that in the best way. Absolutely. Chalk It Up Sports, dead on. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay? Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, Zeus, Jalen is fun to watch. He is fun to watch. Lamar Jackson's fun to watch. Lamar's fun. Will that result in Super Bowls? I don't know, but 44-15 as a starting quarterback. So you're telling me out of 59 NFL starts for Lamar Jackson, he's won 44 of those games. That's remarkable. It's like the sixth winningest, highest percentage of wins for a quarterback in NFL history. He has 44-15. 44-15. Unreal. Joshua says, Sills, I would get Hunt. The less Jalen has to run, quarterback sneaks, the better injury-wise. Joshua, and what you do there with that is you extend his career. Can I tell you guys one of the greatest things that Mike Shanahan ever did for John Elway? Think about this, and this is the difference between Elway and Marino. As John Elway got older in his career, what became the most important thing that Mike Shanahan and the Broncos did for him? What happened? They got Terrell Davis. And they landed on Terrell Davis. Do you guys know who Terrell Davis is? You know Terrell Davis, the Bronco, but you don't know Terrell Davis, the Georgia Bulldog. Did you even know he went there? Terrell Davis went to Georgia, and the coach hated him, never played him. He was in and out of the lineup. Wasn't really anything really special at Georgia at all. I think he was even a late draft choice. The coach hated him. Herschel Walker has told me he's apologized to Terrell Davis for the way that they handled him at Georgia. Just terrible. And all of a sudden, do you know what? They were going to cut him. His fight, get this, he wasn't even going to get on the airplane. They were playing in Japan or something. I think against the 49ers, the Broncos. And Mike Shanahan goes, don't leave. He goes, man, it's not happening. I'm not going to. He goes out there and makes a whole bunch of plays, special teams. They keep him. 3 years later, he's a 2,000-yard rusher. Saved John Elway's career, or extended John Elway's career even more. Changed the whole dynamic of Alex Gibb was brought in on the zone blocking offensive line. Those guys were never like 300-pound guys. They were 280 guys. It was zone blocking was created, and off to the races they went. Elway didn't have to carry the mail any longer running because Elway was a dual threat guy too. He could run, he could throw. And once they got Terrell Davis in the building, changed the whole dynamic for John Elway, and that's why he won those 2 Super Bowls at the back end of his career. And if they would have done that under Dan Reeves earlier, John may have won more Super Bowls. Okay? Elway got 2 rings. Big part was Terrell. Absolutely, man. They changed the whole complexion of that offense because of that. Okay? Terrell Davis is not why they have 2 Super Bowls. The system made every running back look good. That's your opinion. Terrell Davis is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. How many other outside of Floyd Little back in the day who was a non-factor during the Elway era? How many other running backs with that system went to the Hall of Fame? And by the way, Terrell Davis is a modern-day Gale Sayers because he didn't play that long. So your notion is wrong. One Hall of Fame back. There's no other Hall of Fame back. He's going to the Pro Football Hall, or he's in. What other Hall of Fame back did they have? Well, they had a bunch of good. They have, but they haven't had Terrell Davis's. I don't remember 2,000-yard running backs. Mike Anderson and Orlandis Gary. Dudes. Terrell Davis is a Hall of Famer. You're mentioning dudes. And by the way, those guys didn't win Super Bowls. Terrell Davis did. You're missing the point. Well, they were successful running the ball. I'm talking about winning the Super Bowl. Floyd Little played back in the day. He was not a part. He's the other Hall of Fame running back in Denver's history. They've had 2. Floyd Little and Terrell Davis. Those were your Hall of Fame running backs in Bronco history. I can't think if there's anybody else that's ever played there that was really anywhere in those 2 guys. Floyd Little is a former Connecticut guy, too. It's why I know him. He's from Hill House, Connecticut, and he went to Syracuse. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think Floyd Little was after Ernie Davis, if I'm not mistaken. And I think he was the second guy or the third guy to wear 44. That was Jim Brown's number. And he won an MVP as a running back. Hey, you know what, too? Chalk It Up Sports. Terrell Davis, is he the last guy to win the most valuable player award? Or I think it was Adrian Peterson that won the MVP. Yeah, Terrell Davis is not a system running back. Terrell Davis was part of the development of that system. I'm delusional, right? Orlandis Gary, Terrell Davis. Sounds right. That's like saying Cooper Rush and Roger Staubach. They played in Dallas. They're part of the same system. Yeah, okay, dude. We'll agree to disagree. How's that? That always pisses people off more because it ends the conversation. Hey, Steven, real quick on that. I'm getting recruited by Syracuse, right? I've told some of you this. I'm getting recruited by Syracuse. Norm Gerber, who was recruiting for Dick McPherson back in the day, who was the head coach of Syracuse. And I played like linebacker, defensive end. And I was a center, believe it or not. I was a center. You always put your best athletes or your strongest guys or what have you at center. And I played center, and I was like an outside linebacker, defensive end, and I freaking killed dudes. And so Norm Gerber comes down and goes, they had a guy, Tim Green, too, up there at one time. And Tim and I were getting recruited. And I know Tim. Tim's from New York. And so Norm Gerber used to sit in my driveway. Dan, you got to take a visit to Syracuse. I did. So I went up. I took a recruiting trip to Syracuse. And Norm Gerber goes, Dan, we're going to give you the legendary number 44. You're going to give me Jim Brown's number. Yes. We're going to give you Jim Brown's number. I said, Norm, how many dudes have you offered that to? About 28. I went, hey, I'm going to take the recruiting trip now because you're being honest. I wasn't going to go. I was like, I don't know, man. That's not kind of Syracuse inside the care. I don't want to play like that. They were decent, but they weren't great. But it was close to home. And I was like this. I go, no. I go, how many guys have you offered number 44 to? And he goes, 28. And I go, okay, well, I'm going to take the trip. But since you're being honest, I'm going to do it, okay? Oh, my God, thank you so much. Coach McPherson won. I go, okay, I'll be there, okay? It was my last trip, too. I scheduled. I said, all right, shit. I went to Ohio State and Maryland, Miami. I went to a bunch of places. Pitt, I went to. So I had a BC. I had to I had to go up there. I go, okay, man, I'm going to do it, man. Oh, man. Hassan Reddick. Woo! Can't wait to see that dude playing with Robert Quinn. Robert Quinn's going to make him a better ball player. Maybe he'll get off the bus more now. Quinn's going to make him get off the bus. Okay? Quinn's going to make him get off the bus. This guy just sometimes, he gets a Happy Meal. He doesn't get off the bus. He forgets, Hassan Reddick. Okay? Hassan. I'll hit on that. Impact of Robert Quinn this weekend. What will it be? Also, week 8 of the NFL. Hit the like button. Keep it here on the National Football Show.